Good afternoon and welcome to Padre's Ponderings. My mask is hanging from my ear.
You can take it off. You have a white though.
So bizarre.
You might have dirty hands or something.
Yeah, I might.
You've been all over the place.
I've been all over the place today. I know. I found that, you know, when you take one side off, then it just kind of dangles and I forget about it.
Take off both sides.
Take off both sides.
And I'm noticing the people have these things around the neck and they just pull it up just like a bandit in the Old West.
Yeah, those are called gaiters. Gaiter. And they're originally for fishing, so they have SPF in them. So you pull it up like this when you're fishing because of the reflection and everything. And then you have a hat on, and so you're protected. But so now we're using them for masks too. So
this works all right.
Yeah, and you've got it on. You had it on the blue this side. Mm-hmm. That's good.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
The things
Slow,
that we're
but
learning.
I'm getting it.
The things that we're learning that we had no idea that we would be learning about. So you released a video yesterday.
Yes. Yes. I haven't looked at it. Your mama looked at it.
Well, you start out like this.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I had on a blue shirt.
You did. You went
pepped
casual.
Pepped it up a little bit,
yeah.
You know. Well, there's a lot to be excited about. Good video. If you haven't seen it, it's on the webpage, right?
It's on the website. It's on Facebook. Posted it yesterday on Facebook. Sent out in an email yesterday.
You know, just a quick synopsis of looking back, and we've come a long way, right? As I was putting that together, we've come a long way. We've adjusted well. I really appreciate the patience people have had. And because we have been able to pull together and maintain contact, I think we're going to be able to forge ahead into whatever ahead is, whatever God's got in mind, with a degree of strength that'll enable us to be God-honoring in everything that we do, still God-honoring in everything that we do. So I'm excited about it. Really am. Excited about Juan's program that he has going on, excited about the food bank stuff that's going on, excited about the school starting back, about us easing back into Sunday school, about God's goods, easing back into operation as well. And, you know, we got to be safe, but we got to be moving. We got to be active. This thing of being still, you can get paralyzed spiritually in every other way, but we got to get on the ball. Got to keep moving. Otherwise, we'll atrophy. You know? You sit there too long, his old legs will get stiff.
That's true. Well, we call that stove up.
Stove up.
Stove up.
Amen. Amen. Stove up. Golly day, that's an old phrase.
Yeah, but we don't want to get spiritually stove up for sure.
Right. That's right. You got a new Bible study starting online?
On the 28th.
Yep.
Excited about that. Seeing Jesus in, it's Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So all of that pointing to Jesus.
I was, in that video, I said I was going to be teaching in September on 4 different people, but I've changed my mind on that now. I've started.
Well, I'm glad I didn't do the graphic.
Oh, good. Don't do that. Don't do the graphic. But I know what I'm going to do, though.
Oh, good. Okay.
I've never done it before. I'm going to teach on the book of Jonah.
Oh, that's a good one for now.
It's just four chapters, but I've been reading different things about it. Read 2 books about it yesterday, and it's power-packed, and that's a place you can see Jesus.
Absolutely.
Right there.
Jesus even spoke of Jonah.
Well, he did, didn't he? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do Jonah instead. And in those 4 weeks, Jonah has 4 chapters, and I'll try to do as best I can a chapter a week. So if y'all want to get ahead before you tune in, read the book of Jonah and pray about it and see what it tells you before I get into unpacking it for you. I'll just work through it verse by verse. That'll be good.
That will be, because typically we see Jonah's taught more like a Sunday school type children's. You see the picture of the whale, but there's a lot to that story.
Yep.
Well, that's exciting. I've told people, tune in to Padre's Ponderings, because you never know what he's going to come up with. So see, there's a change. And
There's
you
a
hear it
shift
first,
right there.
right here, literally.
There you go. Shifting gears.
Which is good. You have to do that.
Yep.
You have to do that. Well, I walked over from the school. Man, that place is a buzz today. School starts tomorrow for kindergarten through 4th. The next day, it's 5th through 9th. And then on Friday, it's everybody comes back to campus. So everybody's just running around trying to do that last minute preparations and meetings and all of that. So it's exciting.
Teachers been there for like a week and a half, haven't they?
Teachers came back a week ago, last Wednesday. Yeah. So
Full
lots
house.
going on.
Yep. I'm excited about all that's happening over there. Really am.
I'm so glad they can come back. I know there's a lot of different thoughts and opinions on kids coming back to school, but personally, I feel like kids need to have something normal again, something normal. So I'll love seeing them come through. We'll all be masked. Everybody's going to have a mask, but still, just to be able to have kids in that building again. Preschool's been going all summer, so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be wonderful, just wonderful. And I believe that there's a major difference in the virtual school and the in-person school, and I don't think you can compare the two, whether you're in elementary school or middle school or high school or college. You know, there are big differences in there. We learn a lot from each other, and we're not meant to be in isolation. We're meant to be in community. And children need to learn how to be in community. We all would like to live in a world in which we're the king or the queen, and that's not reality. And you can learn that very quickly in a classroom or on a playground in ways that you're not going to learn at home. And as we learn that we're not the king of our little worlds here, then we can begin to acknowledge the fact that Jesus, our God and Father in heaven, is King of kings and Lord of lords. And we can get our lives in the right priority. Talking about priorities this week in Samson. He got balled up because priorities got all balled
He
up.
got very balled up in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he really did.
Because he lost his focus. I was just talking to Elizabeth Markle this morning. She's faith formation teacher at the school, used to work at the church, attends church. And we were just talking about perspective this morning and how we can get so right here. And we're so focused on the day-to-day and the things that frustrate us and all of that, but we have to look at the big picture of what God's doing. And even in times like this where we think, oh my gosh, there's so many negative things, but oh my goodness.
There's never been a time there wasn't negative things.
True. And that will never change.
That'll never change.
Yeah, because we live in a fallen world. But to be able to constantly be looking for how is God using whatever it is. And I shared this with somebody the other day. If COVID hadn't have happened, where colleges were shut down and different things like that, we would not have been blessed with Marissa Rivera. She would have still been in New York.
That's right.
So look at just things like that. What a gift and what a blessing she's been to so many of us, and helping her dad in his ministry, and oh my goodness, belting it out on the stage at Grosse Point and in the chapel, and
now she's going to be
yes,
teaching. Tell me, what is she going to be teaching at the school?
She just accepted the position. I hope it's okay to announce this. The Cross School's music and drama teacher.
Oh, right. That was her majors in college.
Right, that was her major, so that's exciting.
Yes, it is.
I'm excited. I get to see her in the hallway now every day. Yeah. So lots of things happening. Well, Jason came right before COVID, but we wouldn't have probably pushed some of the streaming stuff as quickly as we
I don't
did.
think we would have.
Without kind of that nudge and that necessity to do that. So lots of positive things.
Yep. Nothing to look back about at all.
Nope.
Just
like
look
you
ahead.
said, looking ahead, looking ahead. Yesterday at the food bank, we had 146 people, not people, sorry, families were served. So that means each family gets 2 bags of groceries. I would imagine, just knowing I picked up my groceries this morning, that would be easy $100 of groceries per family, easy. I'm not positive on that, but 287 bags of groceries were donated.
Wow.
So that's fantastic.
Wow.
I walked in the Mission Mall last week for a meeting, and the whole room was set up. They didn't have to break it down because we didn't have any activities going on yet. And it looks like this little grocery store. It was really kind of neat. The cans and just all of the different donations that had come in and were waiting to be packed into bags. And it's just amazing to see that. And then we were on the news. Food Bank was on the news last night.
What?
You didn't see it?
What was the food bank on?
It was community policing. So the Savannah television station came over. I guess they had heard about some community policing in the Hispanic community and how the policemen were going door to door to getting to know people in the neighborhoods and also helping at food banks and different community efforts. And so Juan was on the news last night with some of our favorite Bluffton police officers at the food bank. Yeah. And you could see all the red shirts, each one reach one, or the food bank t-shirts in the video last night. So
Wonderful.
Lots of good stuff, but that's a tremendous ministry, and thank you, Rod and Cheryl, for really being
And a pile of
a
volunteers.
big and huge number. I don't know how many volunteers, but it seems to be growing.
Yeah, volunteers on Saturday morning to receive stuff, Monday
Mm-hmm.
morning to receive stuff and to prepare everything, and then Monday afternoon to hand it out. Amazing. God at work.
Mm-hmm.
God at work.
It's so important if you want to reach people with the gospel. As James tells us, we have to meet their needs. And so that's a really good ministry for them.
We're still getting a lot of cards from y'all about my mother's dying, and
Yes.
thank y'all for that. And many of you write little anecdotes inside, things you remember about Mother. And we got one just a few days ago, and it was, Mama used to come on the Wednesday night teachings that I did, and she'd sit at the front table, and she had a kind of a dry wit about her, and she would always stick these little things in and be under her breath, and then I'd stop everything and get it repeated out loud. And I was talking about the second coming at one time, and the lady that wrote the note to us put in there and reminded me that that Mother piped into the thing, and she said, when Jesus comes again, you better not use 278 or he'll never get here. You know.
She hated driving on 270.
Oh gosh, she didn't want that at all. No, yeah. He'll never get here.
Well, Revelation 19 says he's coming on a horse. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
She's a very funny lady.
yeah. In her own kind of way. Very.
Like, not trying to be funny, but some of the things that she would say were really humorous.
Lots of cards, so thank y'all for that. That was the point of it. So.
Yes, that's very nice and thoughtful. All right, so I grabbed one of these on the way down. This is going back to 1998.
1998.
And I opened it thinking I was going to see tons of quotes
I had to.
and notes. That did not happen in 1998. So when did you start?
I started before then, but I had to use 2 books that year because
Oh.
I spilled coffee on one of them. And
You spelled coffee. I've done that before.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's why this one's not as thick.
that's right.
Okay. It's not
So what
until
quote-
later
what
on.
is our quote
But
in there?
there is one thing written on the front page. And I don't know where it came from. He lived
I
as
might have said it.
this could have been your
And
own
there does-
words.
there's some-
You know,
there's
you do
some
come up
pearls.
with some, you
I got
come
every
up
now and
with
then a
some
pearl.
stuff. He lived as if he would live forever and die tomorrow.
Yep. Think about that. He lived as if he would live forever and die tomorrow. You want me to talk about that?
I do.
now? Oh. You want to talk
Do you
about
know
it?
where it came from?
No? No, but it came from somewhere. I don't know. We'd have to Google that and see. But it's the idea that you need to live with an eye on eternity. Because everything you're doing today is a foundation for you for tomorrow, but more than that, it's a stepping stone for those who are come behind you into their tomorrow. So you live as if you're going to live forever. You want to get as much done as you possibly can do. You want every day to count. And you got to also be aware at the same time that you only got this much time. You don't know how much time it is. So you want to push and make every day count, because tomorrow might be the day you die. But what you're doing today ought to be done with an eye on eternity and as a positioning place. Because see, we're all just passing through. I read a book the other day that said every pastor needs to look at himself as an interim pastor. Because there's somebody coming after you. Somebody's coming after you, and there was somebody before you. So, now, the interim might be at different lengths for people, but you always got to have this idea that you're just passing through. That way you don't get ownership. It's not your church, it's always his church. And a lot of times we take ownership. We get into, that's why I like people to move out of ministries every 3 or 4 years, shift up. Otherwise you start getting ownership on it. You think it's yours. And it's not, it's his. And it's for their benefit. You're just a tool, in essence. So that idea of making every day count, and using every day as a building block and a legacy of sorts, if you want to call it that. Because you're going to be remembered. As long as your memory lives in someone's heart, you'll be remembered. You'll never be forgotten up there, because you'll always be known up there. But that's one of the reasons when I go over the historic campus. I was over there this morning early and walking around. I always go out on the bluff and look at that river. It's always moving. And then I turn around and I walk around that columbarium and I read those little brass plaques out there. I put most of those people in the ground out there. And I keep walking around because I want to keep the faces of the people whose names are there. I want to keep the faces right here, so that when I think about them, I can hold them close right here. Lots of special people out there.
There are.
Lots of special people. I was down on my knees burying one last Saturday week ago, Wanda Crutchfield.
We have another one coming up on Monday, Bob Cipher.
Yep.
But he lived as if he would live forever, which if you are a follower of Jesus Christ, your name is in the Lamb's Book of Life, you will live forever, just not
You live
here,
with a sense of confidence.
the eternity.
Yeah, sense of confidence, a sense of purpose. You are somebody, and you're supposed to live like you're somebody, and you're about the King's work. Perspective.
And making every day count.
Yep. Make it every day count.
We really need to remember that.
So you don't have on a dress today?
I do not. I have on orange pants.
You got Clemson on your mind?
Well, the news yesterday was bleak.
What was the news yesterday?
The news yesterday was there was a very good possibility that college football was not going to happen.
Really?
So that could be why I pulled out the orange pants, because for our family, not really us, but for my brother and his family, college football is a big deal.
Huge.
Big deal. But then, this morning, there seemed to be a little bit of a shift. The SEC and the ACC are like, we're pushing ahead. Big Ten can kind of do their thing. So, who knows? Who
There you
knows?
go.
But perhaps that's why I pulled out the orange pants. I had football on my
Subliminal.
mind. Yes.
something going on there. Yeah.
Hey, you could look like you got a haircut this morning. It looks good.
Yeah. The old boy's
Your
not done
highlights
yet.
are showing.
The old boy's not done yet. Yeah, got a little trim up. I didn't dress up today, though, but I did come
Well,
and
you
take a
dressed
splash with gray
up.
pants.
You have your gray pants on and your blacks.
I was sitting there in the barber chair and covered up with that cloth, you know, and he's cutting away, and the lady comes to the door out there to deliver a package, and it's in the wrong, she's at the wrong place, and so then she's cussing about the machine she has in her hand like that, and he opened the door and he said, "Come in, I'd like you to meet the Reverend in here." Tickled me to death. Anyway, it's another story. Perspective.
Perspective. I would imagine when you're walking around with a collar, it is a little bit different sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't you had, like when you go to the hospital and you're wearing a collar, then people flock to you and ask for you to pray for them?
Yeah.
And
That was a neat thing. I forget when it was, but your mama fell in the grocery store parking. She didn't fall. She tripped over one of those bumpers, you know, where you pull the car up against it. She tripped over that and went down and hit herself. And so I was coming back from Charleston, and Risa got her and took her to the Beaufort Hospital. There was blood everywhere. And I met her there, and she's in the emergency room, and then Risa left. And I came in, I had on clergy clothes, and the lady, they had 4 windows up there. This place was packed. And there was a lady up there, a Hispanic lady, and she motioned for me to come over to the window. So I went over to the window, and she asked me what the situation was. And Becky had already talked to somebody, or Risa had on her behalf, and she asked what the situation was. And I told her, and then she said, "Well, do you have time to say a prayer for me and give me a blessing?" And I just thought that was kind of a strange thing at that moment, but I said, "Sure." So anyway, I prayed with her a minute and gave her a blessing, and she said, "I think we're going to put you in fast track 4. And she had me get Becky out of the emergency room, and we were right on back there to one of those rooms, just like that. Fast track 4. Yep.
a prayer and a blessing.
A prayer and a blessing.
Fast track 4.
There you go. I think we're going to fast track you to 4. You know, one of those things. Just a God thing there. But, you know, what can you say?
You never know when somebody needs a blessing and a prayer, though.
No. And that's happened so often that when I'm in the hospitals, you go down the hall, and gosh, it's been, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, and I was at Hilton Head Hospital late in the evening. We had someone who was dying over there, and so I was over there for that. And as I was walking down the hall, a lady came out of a room, and she said, "Are you a priest?" And she said, and I said, yes, I am. It was kind of a clue. Yes, I am. And she said, "Well, my husband's dying, and I'm a Catholic, and can you come pray with him?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm not a Catholic priest, I'm an Anglican priest." And she said, "It really doesn't matter now. Can you come and pray with him?" And I know some of those prayers that our Catholic friends use, and so I went in there and prayed with her. But I thought that was real revealing. At crunch time, a lot of those things that separate us all of a sudden aren't so important. See? Faith is what transcends our human sinfulness that gives rise to all our denominations. But we prefer to say it really doesn't matter now. So I went in there and prayed with him, and when I came back the next day, he was dead. Wasn't there anymore. But that's another story.
Perspective.
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 Yep. Perspective.
Sometimes I get the nudge to pray for people, and I've learned that when I get that nudge, you just do it. It doesn't matter where you are. You just do it.
Yep.
Especially now, it seems like we've got to be bold for Jesus. So if saying a prayer for somebody in the middle of the grocery store is what you're feeling led to do, then do it, because there's a reason for it.
Yep.
So.
I can't remember when I've been in a grocery store. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And
I haven't been in one in lately either.
yeah, you're doing that.
I'm doing the pickup.
The pickup. That's your mama does it too. Yeah. But she still has to go in every now and then for something that one store doesn't have. I don't know why she goes in there. Why? But she goes to different stores. I know that's, gosh, I can't remember when it goes to store.
Well, she has like, she likes the meat at one place and the vegetables at another. And
Well,
if they don't have it at Walmart pickup, the Hamiltons aren't getting it.
Walmart.
But that's a great way to meet people too. I had the nicest young man. That ages me when I say that. Young man. I had the nicest young man help me this morning, and they don't like for you to get out of the car because of COVID and all that. So I popped the trunk, and so we're talking through the car. Just so nice and happy, and I was thanking him for what he's been doing and how much I appreciate it. And I said, they tell you not to tip them. But he said, well, but you can give or fill out the survey. They do read that. And I said, okay. I said, well, what's the benefit of filling out the survey? He's like, well, I'm not going to tell you there's a competition, but we do get recognized. And I said, well, before I leave the parking lot, I'm going to write a glowing.
Does he have a form for it or something, or you just do it online?
They send it to you on the email.
Oh.
You picked up your groceries. How was your service? Here's a survey. So within 30 seconds, I had already. He wasn't even fully inside, I don't think, by the time they got it.
Good for you.
But I think that's important because a lot of people who are essential workers right now, I think, are kind of getting the brunt of frustrations that some people are feeling. So being kind and saying God loves you is tremendous for those people.
Good for you.
So,
Good
you know
for
what
you.
else is essential?
What is that?
I think church.
Church is essential.
Church is essential. So registrations are open for all services. As you saw in the video, we're not open in 528 yet. We still have spaces and everything available.
We had a big group in here this past week. We had them in both balconies.
Yep, balconies and transepts
Great.
were full here. Cross Point was not totally full, but it was close. Still with the social distancing in the space, and a couple of people have asked, since Sunday school and nursery haven't started back yet, what's it like? Bring your kids. I mean, there's plenty of room. If they want to walk around and I had one family, the little boy just laid out on the floor right there, and he was coloring, and we want you there. So if you want to bring your kids, it's not a problem for us at all.
But we are looking
We're
to start
excited.
Sunday school.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
Do you know when it's going to be?
Yes, September 6th
Labor Day weekend.
at Cross Point. And then I believe Michael Ann told me the 13th, it would start at the 10 o'clock on Historic.
Campus. That's right.
So really excited that we finally kind of have a
And the youth,
date on the
youth
calendar.
programs will be starting up that week too, Tuesday
Right,
and Wednesday
the-
after Labor Day.
8th and 9th, I believe. Yeah. So all good stuff.
Yep.
Time for families to get back in the church, for sure. All right, what other last things would you like to leave us with?
I'm preaching this weekend.
Yes. This campus and Cross Point?
And communion at Cross Point this
Yes,
Sunday.
communion at Cross Point. I love
Yeah,
that.
so I'll be over there, and 3 of us will be there for that.
And Jonathan's doing the legacy sermon that he did online this past Sunday at the historic campus.
He's off this week.
Oh, my
He's
bad.
taking his,
He's off
taking
this
his
week.
son, taking his oldest son back to.
That's right, you
junior.
just told me that. Okay, so who's preaching? Must be one.
Might be,
Might be. I might need to check that out.
might be.
Yes, Will is going off to college this weekend, and then Sam goes the next weekend. So there will come a time where they are going to be sending off a kid just about every weekend in August, probably. So,
Sweet family.
yes. All right, well, go in peace to love and serve the Lord.
Why do we say thanks be to God after that?
Because we're,
Yeah, we're up. It
Well,
just
what's the
dawned on me.
history
Why
of
do you
the
say
church?
thanks be to God that I can go?
serve.
You had never thought about that either, have you?
No.
You know, it ought to be like, okay. Start again. I disrupted
Now
you.
I've got to, now I can't even think about what it is.
Go in
peace to love. Go in peace. That's a good thing.
That's good.
Thanks be to God.
For the peace.
Go the peace from the Holy Spirit. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God. Well, all of those things you're thankful for.
Okay.
Just never
I
thought
see
about
if
it.
you're on your toes.
You know, there are so many things that you just automatically say.
That's right. You don't think about it. I don't think about it.
So thank you for stopping us and pondering.
There you go. We'll see y'all when we see you. And hug you whenever I get a chance.
I know.
At some point in the future.
Yeah.
By God's grace. Meanwhile, never doubt God's love for you or mine.
Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you hopefully on Sunday or online.
Amen.